Hello and welcome to Folger ENCORES. I'm Claire Kavanaugh, the Francis Hooper Professor of Arts and Humanities at Northwestern University, and I'm delighted to be here speaking with you today. The Folger has been sharing selections from their plays, music, and talks and readings with you in this encore series. Go online and look, it's a feast. And I'm honored that this week we're going to be presenting the poetry and legacy of Adam Zagajewski, who passed away in March of this year. I was Adam's translator for 26 years. And we, meaning me, Ed Hirsch, who also participated, his dear friend, and a lot of other people are mourning his absence. He and Ed and I collaborated on a reading for the O.B. Hardison poetry series. The next two are about botanical readings. I'm going to be checking in for those. And this one was entitled Mother Tongue Poetry in Translation. Adam, in a lot of the obituaries and memorials, was called the poet of 9/11, and he's going to be reading in this excerpt you'll be getting his most famous poem. So I won't read it all for you here, but I wanted to just call your attention to a few things. The poem became known as the poem of 9/11, not because it was written for that event. It wasn't. It was written, I think, in 2000. And it was about a personal journey into the past. He and his father traveling back through what is now Ukraine to visit what had been the formerly Polish city of Lvov, however you pronounce it, in which he was born. And out of that experience came this poem that does something. It somehow spoke to people across disasters, across tragedies, across individual and public experiences. It generates, I periodically check, it generates hundreds of thousands of hits online for all kinds of events, personal, public, private, collective. But the poem is typical Adam, and I think you'll get a sense of why as you listen to the reading. It's called Try to Praise the Mutilated World. It speaks to everybody, but in fact, it's the poet speaking to himself. And you'll see that when you get to that in the reading. Telling himself he must praise the world in spite of the suffering, the evidence of which we see around us every day. You must praise the mutilated world, the nettles that methodically overgrow the abandoned homesteads of exiles. You've seen the refugees going nowhere. You've heard the executioners sing joyfully. He's saying it's really hard to praise it, but praise it is his job. Praising the world is his job. How do we praise it, and how do we recuperate from the kind of suffering? And again, this speaks to us very much in our present moment. What he does in the poem is he remembers personal, private, intimate moments, pray, and ends it with the following phrase: praise the mutilated world and the gray feather a thrush lost, and the gentle light that strays and vanishes and returns. They really are words to live by, and I'm not the only one who thinks so. It's been one of the joys of my life to have translated not just this poem, but all of Adam's poetry. And I'm just going to mention one really specific one from this reading. I was going over some of the poems that are going to be appearing, and one of them has a really personal meaning to me that also involves me, Adam, and reading. The poem Sends a Flash, which is about going to art museums in Italy and getting told not to use your flash when taking, no flash photography permitted, basically. Adam and I were at a reading together in Rome in 2011, I think. And every time I recognize something from one of Adam's poems, I get, in the real world, I get so excited. So I was in a museum trying to take a picture of a gorgeous Caravaggio, which is perfect for Adam. He loves Caravaggio. And an old lady came up at me and yelled, "Sends a flash," because it accidentally flashed. I rushed back to the place we were staying. He said, Adam, I just got told sends a flash. So his poetry intersects with our lives in all kinds of funny and unexpected ways, as I hope you'll find in the course of the reading. And please be sure to join us again for these weekly episodes of Encores, highlighting the very wide range of things the Folger has to offer. I'm going to be signing on for that too. Thank you. This is one of the first poems I translated of Adam. It's from about 20 years ago. From the title poem from the collection Mysticism for Beginners. The day was mild, the light was generous. The German on the cafe terrace held a small book in his lap. I caught sight of the title, Mysticism for Beginners. Suddenly I understood that the swallows patrolling the streets of Montepulciano with their shrill whistles, and the hushed talk of timid travelers from Eastern, so-called Central Europe, and the white herons standing yesterday, the day before, like nuns in fields of rice, and the dusk, slow and systematic, erasing the outlines of medieval houses and olive trees on little hills abandoned to the wind and heat, and the head of the unknown princess that I saw and admired in the Louvre, and stained glass windows like butterfly wings sprinkled with pollen, and the little nightingale practicing its speech beside the highway, and any journey, any kind of trip, only mysticism for beginners, the elementary course, prelude to a test that's been postponed. Okay, I think it's my turn now. I'm waiting for the boss to send a sign. This is a poem I was thinking of today. It's from the collection Without End, the new and selected poems that came out, I think, about 10 years ago. And I was thinking about it today because I was in the National Gallery, and there were all these people taking pictures of the pictures before they even looked at the pictures. And I thought of Adam's poem then. Senza flash, no flash, order often heard in Italian galleries. It's the one phrase of Italian I know really well because I did it and I recognized it from Adam's poem. Some old lady yelled at me, senza flash. Is that better? Okay, good. Okay, yeah, well, senza flash. So I've personally had this phrase yelled at me in Rome, so I was proud because I knew it from the poem. No flame, no sleepless nights, no heat, no tears, no mighty passions, no convictions. And so we live on, senza flash. Slow and steady, docile, drowsy, hands stained black from daily papers, faces thick with cream, senza flash. Tourists smiling in their spotless shirts, Herr Lange and Miss Fee, Monsieur, Madame Rien, enter the museum, senza flash, and stand before a Piero della Francesca, where Christ, nearly mad, emerges from the tomb, resurrected, free, senza flash. And something unforeseen may happen then, hidden in smooth cotton, the heart stirs, silence falls, a sudden flash.
And maybe one more. May I? Another one? You know, we improvise. We are jazzy. This is a poem that Claire just translated. It's called My Favorite Poets. My favorite poets never met. They lived in different countries and different ages, surrounded by ordinariness, by good people and bad. They lived modestly, like an apple in an orchard. They loved clouds. They lifted their heads. A great armada of light and shade sailed above them. A film was playing that still hasn't ended. Moments of bitterness passed swiftly, likewise moments of joy. Sometimes they knew what the world was and wrote hard words on soft paper. Sometimes they knew nothing and were like children on a school playground when the first drop of warm rain descends. One more and it'll be your turn. This is a poem, you will never forgive me, but this is the one I wrote in English. So you're very
If he
skeptical.
keeps doing it, I'm out of a job. It's
So it's called We Know What Art Is. We know what art is. We know so well the sensation of happiness, which is sometimes bittersweet, sometimes just sweet, like Turkish pastry. We appreciate art because we want to know what does it mean to be alive. We are alive, it seems, but we are not sure what does it amount to. So we go places or just open a book at home. We remember a moment of epiphany in front of a painting, the color of the sky the day it happened. We trembled when a cellist plays Bach suites and when a piano sings. We know the taste of a great poem written 3,000 years ago or yesterday. We don't understand why sometimes in a gallery we see and feel nothing, nothing at all. We don't know why some books exhale the odor of forgiveness and others keep their anger for centuries. We know and then we forget. We are not sure why some artworks are shut down, like Italian museums on a day of sciopero, strike. Why our souls sometimes shut down like Italian museums on a day of sciopero, strike. Why is art silent when terrible things come about and we don't need it even then? Because terrible things seem to fill the world completely, entirely. We don't know what art is.
well, since Adam was doing art, I mean, again, I've been translating Adam for a long time, and they get into your system, you know. And so when I went to the National Gallery, and I only had a couple hours, I didn't have much time. The first thing I had to do was go to pictures that Adam has written poems about. So I went. I like them too, but I went to the Dutch painters partly because I have this kind of poem stuck in my system. Dutch painters. Pewter bowls heavy and swelling with metal, plump windows bulging from the light, the palpability of leaden clouds, gowns like quilts, moist oysters. These things are immortal, but don't serve us. The clogs walk by themselves. The floor tiles are never bored and sometimes play chess with the moon. An ugly girl studies a letter written in invisible ink. Is it about love or money? The tablecloths smell of starch and morals. The surface and depths don't connect. Mystery, there's no mystery here. Just blue sky, restless and hospitable like a seagull's cry. A woman neatly peeling a red apple. Children dream of old age. Someone reads a book is read. Someone sleeps, becoming a warm object that breathes like an accordion. They like dwelling. They dwelt everywhere, in a wooden chairback, in a milky streamlet narrow as the Bering Strait. Doors were wide open, the wind was friendly, brooms rested after work well done, homes bared all, the painting of a land without secret police. Only on the young Rembrandt's face an early shadow fell. Why? Tell us, Dutch painters, what will happen when the apple is peeled, when the silk dims, when all the colors grow cold? Tell us what darkness is.
We are doing overtime, but we'll be forgiven.
Okay, I'm going to do the kind of, I don't think it's sad, but my students do. I think you have to live a couple more decades to get what makes it important. This is a poem I'm really proud of being associated with. Try to praise the mutilated world. Try to praise the mutilated world. Remember June's long days and wild strawberries, drops of rosé wine. the nettles that methodically overgrow the abandoned homesteads of exiles. You must praise the mutilated world. You watched the stylish yachts and ships. One of them had a long trip ahead of it, while salty oblivion awaited others. You've seen the refugees going nowhere. You've heard the executioners sing joyfully. You should praise the mutilated world. Remember the moments when we were together in a white room and the curtain fluttered. Return in thought to the concert where music flared. You gathered acorns in the park in autumn, and leaves eddied over the earth's scars. Praise the mutilated world, and the gray feather a thrush lost, and the gentle light that strays and vanishes and returns.